Hello everyone. So today in our ARDS lecture series we will discuss about the definition of ARDS as described and formulated by the ACC group of people, then the Berlin group of people. What are the drawbacks, how you can correct that, we will all discuss today in detail. Stay tuned. So what is the ACC definitions? Says us number 1 point is acute hypoxemic respiratory failure. So the number 1 point is acute hypoxemic respiratory failure. Number 2 point is they classified it if the PF ratio, that means the partial pressure of oxygen to the FiO2 ratio, if it is less than 300, they said it is not ARDS, it is ALI. That is also called acute lung injury. So it is not ARDS. If the PF ratio is less than 200, then only they classify it as ARDS, acute respiratory distress syndrome, right? Number 3 point, bilateral pulmonary infiltrates in chest X-ray. Number 4 point, pulmonary capillary wedge pressure or pulmonary artery wedge pressure should be less than equal to 18 centimeter of water or no clinical sign of volume overload or heart failure, right? So this is the ACC definition of ARDS. Now what the Berlin people, they corrected the ACC definition in this manner. This is the Berlin's definition. Now it will be very easy for us to remember if you compare the ACC with the Berlin's, right? So the ACC, they said that it should be acute hypoxemic respiratory failure, but the duration that the Berlin people had added. So the same, and it should be less than 7 days of clinical insult, right? Acute hypoxemic respiratory failure within 7 days of clinical insult, that is the Berlin 1. Then what is the Berlin 2? The Berlin 2 suggests that there is nothing called ALI. Rather, they have classified ARDS into 3 subtypes depending upon the PF ratio. PF ratio between 200 to 300 called mild ARDS, between 100 to 200 called moderate, between less than 100 is called severe ARDS, right? So previously, which was only acute lung injury, now it is called mild ARDS. Why? Because they have seen that even patients who have PF ratio between 200 to 300, they have a mortality of 27%. And mortality increases as you go downward, right? So this is how they classified. Another important point here is, here there is no consideration of PEEP. Here they have used a minimum of PEEP or CPAP of more than equal to 5 centimeter of water, right? So there is no consideration of PEEP here, but here PEEP has been used. Number 3 point, bilateral pulmonary infiltrates in chest X-ray. But here, what they modified? Plus minus CT scan. You can also have the same thing in the CT scan, but the findings are not fully explained by pleural effusion, nodules, lobar collapse or consolidation, right? So these things has to be ruled out. Number 4 volume definition is, you see, if you want to measure the pulmonary capillary wedge pressure, you need a PA catheter. You see, if you want to measure the PCWP or pulmonary capillary wedge pressure, you need a PA catheter. But in the Bolin definition, it is not so. So, not fully explained by. What is not fully explained by? The clinical condition is not fully explained by either volume overload or cardiac failure, and this is judged by clinician and confirmed by echo. So here there is no need of measuring PCWP, right? So these are the definitions of AECC in contrast to Bolin. What are the modifications they have done? Now we'll see what are the shortcomings of Bolin definition, right? The main shortcomings lies in the point number 2. What happens here is, the main drawbacks here is, it is based on single ABG and without any ventilator standardization. Now what is the solution to this? The solution is pretty simple. So what we can do is, when the patient comes to you, you put the patient on ventilator, then optimize. Give tidal volume of 6 ml per kg of ideal body weight. Give FiO2 of at least 0.6 or more than equal to 0.6. Give PEEP more than equal to 5. Then maintain this for at least 12 hours. This is called standardization. And once you have optimized the patient, now after 12 hours, you can apply the same formula PF ratio to classify ARDS. This is exactly what the Proseva people have done. This is also called the Proseva definition of ARDS. What is that? They have done all these settings, and after 12 hours of optimization, if the PF ratio remains less than 150, FiO2 more than 0.6, PEEP more than 5, then they classified it as severe ARDS. Then they prone those patients. So this is one of the intelligent way to classify ARDS. Not that patient comes to you and then classify according to the PF ratio. No. You first standardize the patient according to the existing level of treatment. Then after 12 hours of optimization, you reclassify them with the PF ratio determinants and classify them as either severe ARDS or mild or moderate, right? The problem with the number 4 point will be, there will be observer variation. It is written here just by clinician, so it can be different for different observer. The same thing goes for point number 3, not fully explained by effusion, nodules or lower collapse. So there will be observer variation here also. Coming to the clinical onset part, here we have to divide the insult into two types, right? One will be called direct ARDS, another is indirect ARDS. Direct ARDS means the lung is involved straight away. So the most common cause will be pneumonia, without any doubt. Second will be aspiration. Third will be inhalation. Fourth, drowning. Fifth, contusion. Sixth, vasculitis. Right. What are the indirect cause of ARDS? Number one will be most common, sepsis. Number two, other non-cardiogenic shock. Number three will be pancreatitis. Number four will be burn. 5 is trauma. 6 is Trali. Direct and indirect cause of ARDS. Now we have to remember some of the ARDS mimics. When you are suspecting a patient who can have ARDS, you have to keep in mind there can be some condition which can produce ARDS like features but are actually not ARDS. What are those conditions? Number one is diffuse alveolar hemorrhage. Number two will be cancer infiltration. Three will be organizing pneumonia. Four will be acute eosinophilic pneumonitis. Right. Fifth will be drug induced. So whenever you suspecting that this is not looking exactly like ARDS, there can be something else in the patient, then you have to suspect all this. And how to diagnose this? We have. So when you are suspecting ARDS mimics, what you can do is you can do a bronchoalveolar lavage study or BAL study. From that we can diagnose what is the exact problem in the patient and treat accordingly. So now we'll discuss what are the phases of ARDS. Exudative phase. What happens in exudative phase is there is capillary congestion and alveolar edema. Right. And it stays for approximately 4 to 7 days. Then comes the second part, that is the proliferative phase. It stays up to 21 days. Here what happens is there is proliferation of type 2 pneumocytes, fibroblasts. Right. From here the disease may take two course: resolution to normal or fibrosis. There is interstitial fibrosis and intra-alveolar fibrosis, right? And this happen more than 21 days, right? So today in our discussion we have discussed about the AECC definition, we have compared it with Berlin definition, what are the differences, what are the drawbacks in the Berlin definition, how to take care of it also we have discussed, what are the different causes of ARDS we have discussed, ARDS mimics and phases of ARDS, exudative, proliferative and fibrotic phases, right? So in our next class we will discuss about the ventilatory strategy in ARDS patients. Thank you very much.